Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. This is a much better start than last week's, that's for sure. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster.
I forgot that.
Yeah, we had some issues at the beginning of last week's episode. And this is my brother and co-host Adam, the Country Duck.
The Country Duck?
Country Duck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you got the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
I have a fun story about this t-shirt. One time I was wearing this, I was at a 7-Eleven in Northeast Philadelphia where I live, and some guy looked at me. He was like, "What's up with that shirt, man?" And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, I'm not a fan of the hockey team. I'm just a fan of Emilio Estevez movies. And he's like, "Oh, all right, man."
Hey, man, that's a good reason. But not in the Mighty Ducks movie was the song "Dirty Knife" by the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia.
That's true. It should have been in the movie.
It should have been in the movie.
It just sneaked out.
However, it is the music that you heard coming in here, the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia. They are on Instagram and Spotify. And I swear those things do exist. I don't need to give you the links. You guys can find them on your own. I promise.
You guys are adults.
You are.
Hopefully.
Yes. Well, maybe. Oh shit! I fucking jumped back.
I say we do have a list of what our demographic was.
Yeah. Right. Most of them are adults. Are actually like my age or older. So. By the way. We are filming this on Monday, July 3rd. So happy Independence Day, America.
Happy birthday, America.
Everybody else in the world who listens to this, whether it be your 1% in Bahrain or our less than 1% in Germany, it is just Thursday for you.
Yeah.
But for us, we're all about America.
It's like it's like an old thing is like, do they have a 4th of July in England?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they also have a 3rd, 5th, 6th, all the days around it too.
Absolutely. I even watched Hamilton earlier this week with Regina. So
yeah.
Just to reintroduce her to it, see if she still liked it. So she's not as big of a fan of Hamilton as she is Little Shop of Horrors, and now Hairspray has grown on.
Oh,
her.
nice.
She's pretty much invested in Hairspray. If you guys
pretty much invested in musical theater,
pretty much, yes. So I hope she does not go to college for that, because I can tell you how that works out. Yeah. But if you guys
could grow up and start a podcast with Jack.
She is, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jack, who barely acknowledges her, although he's doing more. He's been acknowledging her a little bit more lately, so I guess that's good. He usually just shakes his fist at her, like, "Baby." That's about it.
He loves her.
Yeah. So if you guys did watch last week's episode about Sam Cooke, the best of Sam Cooke, you will know that I cut off a tip of my finger before doing that, and it is healing well. I don't even have the bandage on anymore. Yeah, see, it's pretty good, right?
It doesn't look bad.
It doesn't look bad. It's not like you could see some redness, but that's not raw skin. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's not so it's like, I'm going out, I'm going to try it without the Band-Aid. And it's still a little soft to touch. I got through my shows last week though. Like Thursday's show, it kind of sucked. There were a couple times where it's like, fuck, that hurt. And then when I played on Saturday, I was starting to just slowly take off the Band-Aid, because the Band-Aid was getting more annoying. It still hurt a little bit, but not bad. Yeah. But I do have shows coming up this week, which I'm pretty sure I'll be 100% for. I'll be continuing my summer residency at Dooney's in Voorhees on Thursday night. And then on Saturday, I have my year-long residency at the Horse in Sellersville, Saturday from 5 to 9, followed by karaoke. So you get to hear me sing, and then you can come in and sing.
You guys can show up and be like, "Oh, that asshole can do it.
That fucking guy can do it. Anybody can do it," which is pretty accurate. Mm-hmm. So I did. Oh, speaking of, I mentioned Jack. It was funny. So Friday, I do like the normal food shopping and shit like that, right? And so I go out after food shopping, and I go to the beer distributor, and I grab a 30-pack of some Genesee beer, not even cream ale. This is straight Genesee beer. Straight Jenny. So it's actually pretty good. Actually, I'm liking it for a cheap ass beer. So I grabbed the 30-pack of that, and a 15-pack of something called Straub or Strobes, Straub.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It looked very in the same vein as Genesee.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try one.
So I grabbed that as I got them in the cooler. So I grabbed a 15-pack of that, and then some Sierra Nevada IPA for Katie, because she likes real beer. Yeah. But then Jack came home from work 2 hours later, And like he bought a 30-pack of PBR for me. He bought like a couple 4-packs of IPAs for Katie because she likes that stuff.
Yeah.
And then like a case of Black and Tan Pounders because that's what it is. So it's like, oh, look at that, you're becoming an adult buying beer for the house, even though we already bought a shit ton of beer. So, but it was cool. It was cool. It's I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah. It's nice when people buy beer that aren't you. You know.
Exactly. What do you got there? Speaking of people who buy beer that aren't me,
I am currently drinking a Lansdale Lager from Round Guys Brewing Company in Lansdale, Pennsylvania.
No, I haven't had that one. I had the Lancaster Lager from Lancaster Brewing, not the Lansdale Lager.
How far is Lansdale from here?
Oh, like half hour. Maybe.
Okay, so
it's still not far. Still relatively close.
Still local. It's good. It's very it's listed as a Golden Helles Lager. Which usually, in my experience, they're more crisp.
Okay.
And more like clean. This has a lot of some nice maltiness to it.
Nice maltiness. Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice. Well, yes, I will. You have a 4-pack of those. So I will have to try one of those out since I fucked up which ones that I was talking about. All right, Adam, are we gonna do this? Is this gonna be the quickest intro ever? Are we gonna make Tom happy?
We can make Tom happy.
Do we want to make Tom happy though?
I'm trying to think if I have any other bullshit to talk about.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, either do I. Not really. All right, Adam, we are here to talk about your pick for episode 14. It is the Postal Service Give Up. And take it away, sir. It's all you.
So this is, like Paul said, my copy, and this is, I'm realizing now, I've talked about before that a lot of my records were damaged in a flood. This one I feel like got the brunt of it. Really.
Yeah, man, that thing's fucked.
The sections, like, it's all separating. It's all just jacked.
Well, even too, I was trying to when I was preparing for the podcast earlier today, I went to listen to it, and I actually had trouble getting the disc out of the sleeves out. And so it's like, oh man, and I was actually like really hoping there was no paper stuck to the vinyl, and there wasn't, which is good. It was just a little bit of stickiness on the label, which it also doesn't help that like it's July 3rd and it's like something like 90 degrees out, and I have fucking air conditioning in my house right now. Our air conditioner went, and we're not sure when it's going to be fixed. Hopefully, like we know who we're going to have do it, and we got like quotes and all that, but like they just haven't scheduled it yet. So hopefully Wednesday it'll get scheduled, and I'm hoping by the end of next week to have air once again in my house. But in the meantime, everything is humid and sucks. It's not too bad down here because we're in the garage, and it's actually a pretty well insulated garage, and it stays cool because heat rises. So, but it's still, everything's fucking sticky. It sucks. Yeah, it's like not a good sticky. No, but anyway, go on.
It's not a sexy sticky.
Yeah, it's not a sexy sticky.
So this album was released in February of 2003, February 18th of 2003 to be exact. Recorded in 2001 and 2002. Was recorded at Dying Songs in Los Angeles and Computer World in Seattle. Came out on Sub Pop, and the band themselves produced it.
Okay.
At least that's how it's listed on Wikipedia. The Postal Service is referred to as a supergroup.
Yeah, no,
it's really just two people. I don't know if you can consider it a
super
group.
The more I read about it, they do have a lot of people who have then like either contributed or played on these songs. So, and it's not like they're like nobodies, So
the main meat and potatoes of the band is Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie, and he a DJ who goes by Dental, I'm assuming is how it's pronounced, is Dentel.
Okay.
His name is Jimmy Tamborello. But then also heavily featured on the album is Jenny Lewis of the band Rilo Kiley.
Yep. And
also
Jen
her solo
Wood.
work. And Jen Wood as well, yes. I don't know much about Jen Wood. I know a little bit about Rilo Kiley and Jenny Lewis. I've heard more of Jenny Lewis's solo stuff than her Rilo Kiley stuff. I'm a big fan of the song Acid Tongue by Jenny Lewis. If you're inclined to check something new out, check that out. But yeah, so the album was released in 2003. This is recorded in 2001 and 2002. Interesting thing about the way this album was recorded is Jimmy Tamborello, who basically made all of the electronic beats for the songs, would basically record them in Los Angeles, burn them to a CD, mail them to Ben Gibbard, who lives in Seattle. He would mail them to the Sub Pop headquarters in Seattle. Ben Gibbard would go pick them up and then listen to them and proceed to write the melody and lyrics for the songs, which is kind of it's got to be a pain in the ass way to write.
Not really. I mean, I actually heard Ben Gibbard talk one time about like his whole writing like process, specifically when he was talking about how he wrote "I Will Follow You Into the Dark" by Death Cab for Cutie. He basically said with like Death Cab got to a certain point, they were like, okay, this is gonna be my big boy job, so I'm gonna treat it like a big boy job. And he went to the studio every single day, made his lunch, all that kind of stuff, and the goal was to write one song per day. So like for him, like taking that mindset probably wasn't that big of a pain in the ass to do it. Like I think what was probably more of a bigger pain in the ass was that he had to go over to Sub Pop and pick up the CD and then go to the studio. Yeah. Now,
if this album was made today, it would just be like dropped onto like a cloud, and then it would just like
it could have been then too. That's where I think it's kind of weird.
Early 2000s.
No, that shit was around. Yeah, you could have at least like sent the file over, you know what I mean? Because like
you could have downloaded it on LimeWire.
Yeah, right.
Giving your computer aids.
Yes.
So yeah, I always thought it was kind of interesting. I thought that was an interesting way to make an album. Basically, I recently, I've always been. I think I learned about the Postal Service from a girl that I was dating in high school. Girl named Genevieve played them for me. If I remember correctly, she played me "We Will Become Silhouettes" and "Such Great Heights."
Okay.
And really liked it. Started listening to them, and so I've been kind of cognizant of them from not that long after the album was released. Was always a fan. Never really looked too much. I knew it was like I knew it was the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie because I listened to Death Cab for Cutie and knew the guy's voice. But he does have a very distinct voice, and that's a good thing. Yeah. It's like Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker when Joe Cocker's singing. It wasn't until fairly recently that a friend of mine, Matt, that I used to work with, played that song "Acid Tongue" by Jenny Lewis that I was just talking about, where I started listening to some more of Jenny Lewis's solo stuff, and then just happened to be reading something and realized that Jenny Lewis does the majority of the female backing vocals on the album. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, I've been listening to Jenny Lewis sing for way fucking longer than I thought I had. But yeah, I've always enjoyed this album. Fun story. I think I may have told it on an episode of the podcast. I can't remember. The way I got this album was
told it on last week's episode.
Did I?
Yeah, but go on.
There was a. Did you get it?
I hit it.
There was a. When I was in college, I was dating this girl who lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh no, this is a different story. Go on. You told a different story last week.
I may have told like the abridged version of it.
Okay, all right. Tell the full story.
So I was dating a girl who lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
By the way, real quick, you guys could go for reference and check what he said last week, and then check what he says now. We'll see if he's a fucking liar.
I'm gonna listen to it. So yeah, I was dating a girl when I was in college. She lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and the one time I was over her house, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to go to this record store?" Because she knew that I liked vinyl, and I said, "Yeah, absolutely. What's it called?" And she said, "It's called Tunes." Cannot remember where it was in Jersey.
It's on 73.
No. Is that Voorhees? Mm-hmm. It's not that one.
Oh, not that one.
There's another one. Okay. I think it was Mount Laurel.
Okay. All right.
I just actually, after Paul made a delicious meal tonight, and afterwards I was smoking a cigarette, and I was Googling, trying to figure out where Tunes was located to, as a little background for the story. And it seems like the Tunes that I went to is now closed.
Okay. All right, because I was going to say, I passed the Tunes on 73 when I'm going to my Thursday show at Dooney's in Voorhees, New Jersey.
There you go.
There you go.
But the one that I went to is great. You could go and you can trade in movies, CDs, records, pretty much all that kind of stuff. and it's basically like a GameStop. You can go trade shit in, get store credit, buy new shit. They had a lot of used stuff. So she had taken me there one time, and I love the place. I used to buy a lot of cheap movies there, and used to buy a lot of records there.
It's hot, and these are going down fast. So.
Yeah. So the one time we had gone, I was walking through, and I think we've talked about before, like, you see a record, and I talked about it for the pilot episode, where I watched Katie pick up Seasons in the Abyss, and then
I'm sorry, who?
Katai picked up Seasons in the Abyss, and I forgot. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think Katie likes Slayer.
Yeah.
Katie
doesn't like Slayer, but
Katai
loves
she's
Slayer.
all about Slayer. Yes.
So I watched her pick up this record and go, "Oh, this is my favorite album by them," and then put it down and walk away. And I was like, when I saw this, it was sitting on a display shelf on the wall. And I thought, I didn't even know that they pressed that on vinyl. I need to have that. So I took it off the wall, proceeded to walk around the store.
So real quick, what year was that?
2000 and... Huh.
You all right there?
No, I just realized something, because I thought that I had... in my head, I was thinking that I had a 10th anniversary.
You do not.
Edition.
You do not have a 10th anniversary edition.
But then I just realized that there's no way that I bought this album 10 years after it came out, because I was only dating that girl from like 2009 to 2011.
So not to spoil it, but the only reason I'm like jumping in your story here is I do not want to spoil our Discogs value. What you have is a 2005 version, which was the first time it was on vinyl. They actually didn't release it on vinyl right away. It was only released digitally and on CD.
Oh, okay.
So this pressing here is not even, it's not technically an original pressing.
Yeah.
It's a repress of the 2005, but yeah. So they didn't put this out on vinyl right away.
Gotcha.
So it was when they went through all the I'm sure you'll get into it with the factoids and whatnot. But yeah. So that's why I was like, what year was that? So I was interested to see.
So I happened to see it. I saw it and thought I need to buy that fucking album. Took it off the wall. Was walking around browsing the rest of the store, and I was about 6 feet to the right of where the thing it was sitting on the wall was, and I see a guy come into the store and walk over to the space right in front of the thing, and he looks up and it's not there, and he kind of just looks around and he sees it in my hand and goes, "You grabbed it?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Postal Service." And I was like, "Oh yeah, my bad." He's like, "Nah man, good grab." So I felt kind of bad, but then also felt kind of good. I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. So your story does check out. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So yeah, it was one of those albums where I saw it and I thought to myself, I didn't know that they pressed this on vinyl. Didn't know that I needed it until I saw that type thing, and I bought it that day, and like I said, sadly it's very upsetting to me actually that it's become so horribly water damaged. Paul was just talking about more factoids, and I kind of jumped over to how I got the album and stopped talking about the band and the album itself. Apparently, well, I'll get to that in a second. Well, critically, Pitchfork placed this album at 104 on its list of the 200 best albums of the 2000s.
Hey, real quick, just so back to your fucked up copy. If you did want to get a new copy, there is one that was released in April.
Oh, Paul.
It's the 20th anniversary.
Where could you possibly get that?
You could possibly get that at OttsvilleRecordGarage.com. It is actually a blue and metallic silver copy.
I see that. It sounds...
Yeah.
I see. That's the other thing I was thinking. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But so yeah, they released the 10th anniversary edition, which is what I thought I had.
Nope.
And then very recently, actually, the Postal Service, they kind of disbanded. But very recently, they were touring with Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh, were they?
In support of the 20th anniversary of the album. So yeah, Pitchfork named it 104. 104 on the list of 200 best albums of the 2000s. Rolling Stone ranked it at number 86 of the decade's best album.
Okay.
I don't know what year that was that they did that.
Yeah.
but it was the decade, so I'm assuming sometime after
2010. Yeah, probably.
Fun fact about this band: in August 2003, the United States Postal Service served the band a cease and desist.
Yes.
For dilution of their trademark. And apparently Ben Gibbard went to Los Angeles and met with like representatives of the United States Postal Service, and they came to an agreement where they would both use the name, provided that the band basically promotes the postal the mail carrying postal service.
Yep.
And so apparently,
sold it on the
when
website.
the album was released, you could go on the United States Postal Service website and buy a copy of "Give Up," which is kind of fucking funny.
Yeah. They used UPS and FedEx to ship it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
Apparently, the two also Ben Gibbard and Jimmy Tamborello would also perform at the United States Postal Service convention, the annual USPS convention in Washington D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like most of like the people that would go to that would be like, who the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So because it's just when you look at
but
people in the post office,
it's just a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said when they performed at the convention in 2004, there was an interview that Tamborello did with Pitchfork where he said it was a kind of weird thing at the beginning, but then actually turned out to be pretty fun. And he said for their performance, they performed 2 songs and then briefly met with the Postmaster General. So it's a very weird little thing. Like you know, it makes sense.
Did I tell you about my short-lived employment with the U.S. Postal Service?
No, what'd you do? Were you a mail carrier?
I was supposed to be. I didn't. It wasn't even really. It was so. So I applied. I was unemployed, and I applied for the U.S. Postal Service, and to be a mail carrier. But like they I don't know if they still do it, but at that time in like 2018ish, 2017ish. No, it was before that. It was before that. It was like fucking 2013ish, somewhere around there. 14ish, whatever. At any rate, so they weren't hiring necessarily full-time employees. They were hiring full-time temps. So you would get full-time hours and you would be considered temporary for at least a year. After a year, you could get benefits, all this kind of stuff, right?
There was a fly.
Yeah. So I get the fill out the application and get the whole thing, go do your drug test, and they give you this whole like packet that they send to you. They're like, you need to come for this interview and you need to bring this packet 100% filled out. No, we're not going over this packet. It has to be 100% correct. And if it's not, well, then we're just going to send you home and your application's voided. All this kind of stuff. So I'm not an idiot. So I fill out this package.
I'm not an idiot. So I threw it away.
Yes. So I fill out this package 100%. It's all correct. I double checked it, triple checked it. Because I'm like, all right, cool. This would be cool. I get there on the morning and there's like you sign in sheet and you sign in. I'm like the friggin' 25th person signing in. And I'm still like 20 minutes early, which is impressive because there were people there before me. So I'm just like, all right, well, either way, I know there's people in front of me, but, hopefully this will, I'll be out of here by noonish. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, what they then proceeded to do was go over page by page of this 30-page packet that was supposed to be filled out in advance.
Jesus Christ.
And 100% correct, or they weren't going to consider your application. I'm like, what the heck?
I would have been like, I just would have raised my hand and be like, seriously?
So like I'm going there. I'm like, all right. And so like I mean, I at least took advantage of it. I'm like, all right, well, let me at least double check stuff. And there was absolutely nothing I needed to change. And so now around noon that gets done. Then they're like, okay, we're gonna start the interview process now. And then they like take you to do the first interview. And at this point, it's like 2:00, and I'm just getting to the point to do my first interview. And you have to do 2 interviews. And the people who were going in first were still sitting there waiting to do their second interview. Yeah. And I'm just like, so I sit down with the woman. She comes over and she had like an attitude about the fact, like, I can't believe they pulled me in to do this and I got other things to do and like all this kind of shit.
I got mail to sort.
Yeah. And I just looked. I was like, listen, don't worry about it. I'm out. And she's like, what? I'm like, I'm out. Fucking leaving.
Like, this is how you guys fucking run this dog and pony show?
Yeah. She's like, no. You have the job. You just got to go through. So I'm like, yeah, no, it's good. I don't want to do this. Like, this isn't what I'm going to fucking do. And so she's like, well, no one's ever done this before. I'm like, yeah, but I am. So fuck it. Like,
yeah. I was like, so.
Yeah, so I actually had to sign something to say that I am refusing to take the job, and I'm like, yeah, no, fine, fuck you guys. It was pretty funny.
That's right.
So,
I it's always amazed me. Like I'm like, maybe I'm just of a different mindset, but like, if I'm sent something for like, you know, an interview per se, and they go, hey, here's the date of your interview, here's the time, make sure all of this packet that I'm sending you is filled out.
Yep.
I'm gonna be there 20 minutes before my time that they tell me, and my entire packet's gonna be filled out.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it blows my mind where like I had jury duty the one time, and like the thing says show up at this time with this, and this, and like your summons letter, your whatever, your driver's license, and motherfuckers are still showing up without their driver's license, without their summons letter. I'm like, how the fuck do you just not listen to simple tasks?
That's people for you.
Yeah, that's people suck.
A person is smart, people are stupid.
But you know what doesn't suck, Paul? At least in my opinion.
Okay.
This album.
All right.
I enjoy this album. That being said, I do not enjoy the majority of side 3 and 4 of this album. So the
you're talking about the cover stuff?
Like the covers and the remixes and that shit.
Oh, so I do want to say this, that so because you said you had the 10th anniversary edition, I didn't. I just listened to like whatever. I think I I just listened for the basic. I didn't listen to the cover stuff until today. I actually threw it on today, but I was just like, oh, that's this version that has the extra EP with it. So yeah. Which I didn't even listen to the whole thing of that. But
so yeah, the album originally ends after Natural Anthem. The side 3 and 4 of this specific one are B-sides. There's some covers thrown in there, and there's some remix versions of some of the songs. If you have the 10th anniversary deluxe edition, though, it has has all of the other stuff that this one has, all the B-sides and all that stuff. But then at the end, it also has the Shins cover of We Will Become Silhouettes, and has Iron and Wine's cover of Such Great Heights on it.
Yes.
Which, honestly, if you have the 10th anniversary deluxe edition, listen to side 1 and 2, and then skip to the last 2 tracks of side 4, because the B-sides and unless you're really into them, like, the B-sides aren't bad, don't get me wrong. I was re-listening to the album on the way up to Paul's today, and the B-sides aren't bad, but there's a reason why they're the B-sides. They're not as good as the album itself. But yeah, so we know that I like this album because obviously it's mine and I wanted to include it. And I just told this story about seeing it on a wall at a record shop and having to buy it. Paul, I'm very interested to see what you think about this album.
Okay, so
not a good start.
I don't hate this album, but I don't think I like it.
Okay.
I am actually disappointed with this album.
Oh, okay.
So reason being, so like I knew the song Such Great Heights, really the only song I knew by Postal Service, but like I've heard so many great things about this album. I've heard, like, you're not the only first person saying, oh my god, this album's amazing. Like there's like the person who's supposed to be our special guest was Frank Daly from Jameson Celtic Rock, who was on the
friend of the
podcast. He was on the Smiths episode. He put that he wanted to be special guest for this too, and I didn't ask him because I know he's down the shore and he's actually playing a show right now as we speak. So I didn't reach out to him, but like I generally respect his opinion on music. Straub.
Handcrafted in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, wherever the fuck that is.
I don't even know where that is. So, I was kind of excited to be able to get to hear this album. Actually, not that I haven't had an opportunity. I just never sat down and did it.
Frank told me that Bright Eyes album was good and it was good. Maybe this fucking album's good too.
Yeah, right? So, but no, I was actually honestly really looking forward to listening to this album because like I didn't ever listen to the whole thing. I just knew the one song and I liked that song. But it's funny because their version, and I knew this before because I'd heard the other cover versions. I actually don't think that Postal Service does the best version of Such Great Heights.
Do you think the Iron and Wine?
I think the Iron and Wine one is the fucking best one.
I've had,
and then I also like the Ben Folds version of it too.
I've had this conversation with Zach because Zach likes the Shins version of "We Will Become Silhouettes" more than he likes the Postal Service version.
Okay.
But to each his own. I agree. I love them both. I was actually listening to the Iron and Wine version today, and Iron and Wine is just fucking good in general. Yeah. But that version is very good. But I think it's just because we talked about before how I always say that, like, your first exposure to something is always going to be your favorite version of it. So I think because I heard the Postal Service version first, it's going to it's but there's other things like that.
I don't know which version I heard first, to be honest.
Yeah, there are covers of things that are better than the original.
Well,
not closer. "Hurt" by Johnny Cash is significantly better than the original.
Yeah, I actually heard one time, like, Trent Reznor said, like, it's a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, it's Johnny Cash's.
That's not a Trent. That's not a Nine Inch Nails song. But it's funny, and that you mentioned that because it just, the Iron and Wine and the Ben Folds versions, like the covers of Such Great Heights, I think are better than the Postal Service. Their actual rendition of it. Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
It's good beer.
But it reminds me of the Pixies. Are you familiar with the Pixies?
I thought it was just Pixies.
No, it's the Pixies.
Is it the Pixies?
I don't know. I call them the Pixies. I think everything says the Pixies.
Because I was just listening to the song "Here Comes Your Man" the other day, and it just says Pixies.
I don't know. Maybe iTunes does it different. I don't know. But anyway, the Pixies.
Don't yell at me. Yell at iTunes.
Covered Jesus and Mary Chain's "Head On" about 2 years after Jesus and Mary Chain put it on. And I think, in my opinion, the Pixies version is a superior version of the song. Like, to the point where I'm like, wait, who did that? Did Jesus and Mary Chain cover that, or is it the other way? So I actually had to look that up.
I think I told the story before where I cognizantly I heard the Smashing Pumpkins version of Landslide before realizing that it was fucking Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
And so, like, in my head,
it is just Pixies.
Landslide was just the fucking Smashing Pumpkins song that happened to be on Rotten Apples.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I was like, and then I realized, like, way later after the fact, like, prouder than I'm willing to, longer than I'm prouder to admit, that it was a fucking cover. But I know we all know Paul's opinion on Fleetwood Mac, so and I don't think you really care for the Smashing Pumpkins, do you?
Not particularly. I thought they were horrible live.
But I think just to be on your fuck Fleetwood Mac bandwagon, you might say the Pumpkins version is better.
No. I like Disarm. I like some of the stuff on Melancholy, like some of the hits. I like the hits, but I definitely don't like the
deep tracks.
The deep tracks, and like I said, they were absolutely fucking horrible live. I left in the middle of the show. It was a long day anyways, Lollapalooza in 94, summer 94.
I'm Paul. I go to big historical events.
I do. Well, it was a historical event because that was the one where Nirvana was supposed to be the headlining band. And obviously they were not, and the Smashing Pumpkins were in there. But before the Smashing Pumpkins played, Courtney Love came out and played like 3 songs just like with a guitar, and that was her first like public appearance after Kurt Cobain had died and whatnot. So there was like, oh my god, Courtney's here, and I'm like, I guess that's kind of cool.
Okay.
But I was like, are they gonna play Disarm or what? You know what I mean? And they did, and it was horrible, and I was like, I'm fucking leaving. Like, but I did get to see the Beastie Boys at that show, so that was right. That was worth it right there. Beastie Boys and George Clinton and the Breeders were on that. Back to the Pixies, Kim Deal. So this album, I almost like it's almost like the Big Lebowski for me.
It's kind of like I talked about it on the episode where Frank was on, where I don't like the beer Mad Elf.
Right.
And I think part of it is because all of my friends would tell me of how it was the greatest beer that's ever been created by man. And it can't live up to its hype.
Right. And I think that's part of it, is just like, because like I've heard about this album, I've wanted to check it out. I do like the one song. But it's the same thing. People have been telling me for years, oh man, I can't believe you never saw the Big Lebowski. You, Paul, you'll love that movie. And I watched it and I'm like, it's all right. Yeah, it's okay. No. I didn't love it. It was just okay.
There are some good lines from the Big Lebowski though.
Like, I honestly wish that and I know the whole thing of the Postal Service is Ben Gibbard and the Cambarello. I wish his parts weren't in there. I think if you took the electronical parts out, I think I would actually like it better. I think I would like the album better. Like
I could get behind just like a Ben Gibbard and Jenny Lewis.
That's what I'm saying. Like it ruins like the shit that they do, that the electronic beats and the electronic music that goes on during like Nothing Better. Mm-hmm. It's basically a fucking video game soundtrack. It's basically he's playing Super Mario Brothers.
No,
behind that song.
Nothing Better. Brand New Colony.
No, Nothing Better too though.
Brand new, Nothing Better, really?
Yeah, and it's in Brand New Colony too.
Brand New Colony is straight up Super Mario.
Yeah, so is Nothing Better, and it's like you take that shit out, and I'm like, all right, no, this is a much better song, but it was just like, it does work. I will say that it does work on Recycled Air, the electronic beats, the backing, and whatnot. But that song, in my opinion, Recycled Air, that sounds like it's straight off of Moby's album Play, which, and I mean that in a good way. That's Moby's Play is probably a top 50 album for me. Like, it's not top 25. I don't have it on vinyl, but if I did, I don't know that it would make it on this one. But like that's a good album.
It's funny that you mentioned Moby, because I showed Paul after we recorded the Sam Cooke episode last week, when the 10th anniversary edition was coming out.
Right.
There was a video that got put out on YouTube where it was auditions for the Postal Service, and it was a guy pretending to be a Sub Pop, executive, and he was with Jimmy Tamborello, and just basically having a bunch of musicians come up and audition for the band, and one of them was Moby, and Moby's audition was
it was pretty funny,
absolutely fucking ridiculous. Yeah. But other people featured in it were what's the bass player from
Duff McKagan?
Duff McKagan was in it.
Guns N' Roses.
The bass player from what's it called that was in it? Foo Fighters. He comes.
Oh yeah.
Foo Fighters and
from Sunny Day Real Estate. Yeah, Nate. Whatever his name is.
Yeah. Weird Al Yankovic was in it.
Which was a good one too.
The comedian Mark Maron is the one who is like, he's like making the weird like sounds on the guitar. He's like, you like that? He likes that. But it's funny that you mentioned it at Moby, because
yeah. I'm
curious now if that was intentional.
It could have been. Yeah. But no, that song, like I said, that's a good song. It didn't make it onto my top 3, but like that is the only song. Although, like, Such Great Heights, it works too. What he did there works too. Yeah. But that's the only other song, in my opinion, like those beats and the boop, 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 all that bullshit in the background. It's the only other song it works on.
When I was listening to the album on the way to Paul's today, I realized that the best way to describe the Postal Service is sustained ominous piano tones with poppy bullshit on top of it. Every single song is like doom, doom.
Yeah, and that's what I don't need. I don't need the
Paul's all about those dark, ominous tones.
I am. One of the things I'll say though is I do wonder. You can't go back in time. I will admit that maybe
you can't.
I can't. Well, I will say that maybe had I heard this in 2004, 2005, I might feel different. Maybe it's one of those things that just doesn't hold up 20 years later.
Yeah.
Like listening to it for the first time 20 years later. It's like, it's like listening to like fucking, I don't know, like Frankie Valli. Do you know what I mean? Listen to Frankie Valli now, you're like, oh, what the fuck is this? But listen to Frankie Valli in like, whatever, 1969 or whatever.
And you're like, oh shit.
You're like, oh, this is my fucking jam.
Sherry, baby. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing. Like, so that's why I kind of wonder if like this is just an album that like just
an album of its time
of its time, right? It doesn't hold the test of time, but I mean, they're still putting out 20th anniversary. But I get that because there is that hype about it.
Yeah, like they're putting out 20th anniversary because there's people like me who discovered this album, year or two after it came out.
Yeah.
Who now collect vinyl.
Yes, you do.
And would potentially, how much was that? How much was
like $27?
Yeah, I'd spend $30 on a cool colored version of this.
Yep, and that's the thing. That's where it's just like, man, I want to like this album just because you know what I mean. Like I don't like it, but I don't hate it. It's like it's like man, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
All right, let me. So let's put it this way. Let's rank it. Okay.
Rank it. Okay.
Postal Service, Give Up, Steel Train, self-titled, Say Anything Is a Real Boy.
All right, so do we have to even put those other two in the same like category? Like, do they have to?
Well, those are the
because I think you just explained the ranking right there.
That's how you would rank it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, those are the.
But that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't even put this with those two albums.
I'm just putting it with those two because those are the three albums where you have expressed
well, no, I don't think this
Take
is
It Back
horrible.
Sunday as well.
Well, that's
a given.
That's a given. That's just
Which do you hate more, Take It Back Sunday or Say Anything?
Say Anything.
No?
Yeah. No, I like Take It Back Sunday a little
That's
bit.
right. We talked about you.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, you enjoyed.
Yes, because Adam was not Adam. Zach was like crying because I was going to shit on his most favorite.
Yeah, Zach was coming out guns blazing.
Yes,
waiting for you to...
he wanted to argue with me about why it's the greatest album in the world, and I was just like, yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, I think he was really hoping.
It's all good. But that's the thing. Like, so this album here, I mean, a lot of really good lyrics. I fucking love the lyrics throughout. The recording is great. Even the way they mixed the electronic beats and sounds. It's a complete mix. It's not like two separate things. So I mean, they do work. They do work together. I just don't get them. The use of Jen Woods and Jenny Lewis throughout the album with the backing vocals, I think is needed. Which is why I'm saying it's like kind of like a super, because sometimes you hear, sometimes that bands put on a female vocalist just to have a female vocalist on there, right? And then other times
equality and stuff.
Well, it's not even that. It's just they're like, oh, if we have a girl sing on this song, it'll be a hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like this is like, I think if you take either one of them women or any of the additional musicians that played on this album, if you take them out, it's not the same album, which is why I do think it's a super group, because they all really do contribute to it. So it's, that take them out, and it's not as good of an album. So, so I do think overall, like, I can't sit there and say, oh my God, this is such a piece of shit. It's not, you know what I mean? It's definitely. So in comparison to Steel Train, this album's 100% original. Mm-hmm. Okay. Whereas Steel Train was a lot of like, I'm going to take an idea from a bunch of other songs and try to create songs off of that people will like. This feels and sounds like, oh man, like this guy's doing this stuff, which is kind of cool. And I'm doing this stuff, which is kind of cool. Let's see what happens if we put it together.
Yeah.
And it's and it's good. And it's original. It's artistic. It's there. I just don't think it's for me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
On the topic of originality with this band, when I was in high school, when MySpace was still a thing, I remember getting a message from a guy who I went to high school with saying, hey, I just joined this band. You should check us out. We sound like the Postal Service.
Okay.
Listen to the music, and I'm like, oh, I enjoy this. It's poppy bullshit. I enjoy this. About 2 weeks later, I get a message on MySpace from another band called Play Radio Play.
Okay.
From Fort Worth, Texas.
Huh.
My friend who messaged me to follow his band, it was a guy who he was friends with who said, hey, do you want to join my band? That guy took a bunch of Play Radio Play music, put it on his MySpace page, and said, I made this. Check it out. It sounds like the Postal Service. So I got a message from this band saying, like, hey, I see you're friends with this band. Just so you know, they basically stole all of our shit. And I responded back. I'm like, oh, that sucks because it's really fucking good. So now I'm going to start following you guys. And they were like, oh, thanks. And then later on, I saw them at the Chalk Balcony with Portugal the Man.
There you go.
I forget what they Play Radio Play has since changed their name. I can't remember what they changed it to, but back when I was in high school, they were Play Radio Play.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. That's funny. That's like how there's two Birmingham Sixes. Mm-hmm. That's like I fucked up my friend Sean's head. He's gonna hear this too. He's like, you didn't fuck up my head. I'm like, yeah, I fucked up your head, Sean. You know I fucked up your head. So he was telling me about this.
Fucking know it, Sean.
Sean from the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia, which you should check out. The Unholy Four was starting a side project called the Resignators, right? And it was like him and another guy, and I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like sitting there playing some of the stuff that he's doing. So I'm like, flipping through Facebook the one day, and this thing comes up, the Resignators on this ska festival, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is this? Well, there's this ska band called the Resignators. Awesome. So I was like, wait, I think that's the name of Sean's side project. So I sent him a message. I was like, yo, dude, what's the name of your side project? And he sends me like the logo and the Resignators. I'm like, oh, okay. So I take a screenshot of the thing and send it back to him. And he's like, oh man, I didn't even fucking know ska was still a thing. I'm like, all right, dude, like whatever. Like I think it's funny. I was like, but like I was like I wouldn't worry about it. I'm like whatever, man. Like I have there's 2 Birmingham 6s. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
Speaking
so,
of
that was pretty funny.
Speaking of Sean and side projects, he posted something on Instagram the other day about some side project thing. I don't know if it was legitimate or if he was just taking pictures. Taking pictures of his guitars. But he posted some pictures of some beautiful fucking guitars.
Oh yeah, he has a bunch of beautiful guitars.
Fucking vintage guitars.
Yeah. No, he has too many guitars. That's what he says all the time. He's like, man, he has so many guitars. He actually keeps some of them at other people's houses because he can't fit them in his. So,
I just remember the one time we talked about it on the podcast before. You and Sean played the show at that one church that you set up.
Yeah.
And I remember going to Sean's to pick up all the gear. And him loading up his fucking Gibson SG. And it's a guitar that has always had a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful fucking guitar.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so that was cool. That was so like how I am with records, where like if you take the tram back to the warehouse,
you take the moving sidewalk.
And then you take the moving sidewalk and then go up to the 10th floor. You see all the records and whatnot. That's how kind of Sean is with guitars. Yeah. So, too many things in a small space. Yeah. So, but yeah, like back to this. Like it's like I said. Like I think I even actually wrote. I don't think I like it. I don't think like. Was it? Yeah. I don't hate this album, but I don't think I like. And I actually wrote that. I don't think I like it because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, man, like there's so many good elements to this album, and there really is. There really are a lot of really good elements to this album.
Excuse me.
I just maybe like I said, it could just be that I just don't get it.
No.
You know what I mean? And again, if I don't know if 2005 Paul heard this and he'd be like, this is fucking great. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, I got like such great heights.
I get it.
I did find 3 favorites, and
I get it. Teachers.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I mean,
you seem disappointed.
No, I don't.
Did I let you down?
No. I said,
hurt. You're hurt.
No. I texted Katie, Katai. Excuse me. I texted Katai on my way up here, and I said, I was like, man, I fucking, I really like this album, and I'm really interested to see. I was really interested to see what your opinion was, because I knew you weren't gonna like Take It Back Sunday. I had a feeling you weren't going to like say anything. But like Steel Train, I figured could have gone either way.
Oh, it went one way.
This one, I felt like it could have gone either way as well. Like I think it was either, which is weird because I thought it was going to be a far end of the spectrum. I didn't think you'd land somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
On this, I thought you were going to be like, oh, this is fucking good, or oh, I fucking hated it. Pretty much everything. No, that's a lie. With Wonder Years, I fully expected you to hate the Wonder Years.
Okay, which I fucking loved actually. I love that album. That's a great album.
So I kind of figured you could lean either way on this one, and I like I said, I expected you to go to the far ends of the spectrum, not to be somewhere in the middle on it.
And I honestly, I kind of feel like I did go on the far end spectrum because I went into this week or last week. I went into listening to this album, wanting to listen to it. Excited about listening to it.
I got scared. I was like, "Where's the box of mic?"
Oh, it's back there. wanting to listen to the album. Excited to listen to the album. Finally taking the time to sit down and listen to an album that I've heard so many good things about, and like so many people whose opinions I respect musically love this album. And then it's just like, oh god damn it, really? This isn't that good.
No.
You know what I mean? But like I said, there's good elements. But like I said, I would like this because. And this is why I would kind of like to see what 2005 Paul would have thought about it, because like 1998 Paul loved fucking Moby. Do you know what I mean? And there is it's not the same thing, but there's a connection.
The 1998 versions of All of Ourselves loved Moby.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what was not to love?
We all loved Southside featuring Gwen Stefani.
See, I didn't like the feature. I didn't like featuring Gwen Stefani.
That song's catchy.
It is, but I liked whoever the original woman was who sang it. I liked her better. I liked that because I actually had it on. I can't remember if I had it on cassette or if I had it on CD. But I know when they repressed it they only do the Gwen Stefani version.
Oh, okay.
So unfortunately, I don't have my copy of it anymore. But it, like that's probably like what I was saying. It's like, yeah, it's the original. Whoever the woman is who sang it, I liked her better than the Gwen Stefani.
It's Aretha Franklin.
It wasn't.
No,
it was not. It could have been, but I did like one of my favorite songs off of that is Porcelain. It's a great song, just like it's like a good like vibe song, like mood song, and then like Honey, the opening song on the album. What was cool is
that's the song from Gone 60 Seconds, isn't it?
I actually don't know. I don't know if it is.
How's it go?
Honey, when you come back sometime.
Nope.
Yeah. So, but at any rate, so I have I like to say
Not the song I was thinking of.
that I introduced my my oldest daughter Kaylee is very much into EDM and
very much into Moby.
very well, but that's the thing. Very
Yeah.
much into EDM and electronic music. She goes to festivals all the time. She actually does
a lot of Molly.
not anymore. I don't think she does it anymore. I know at one point she probably did or did, but I don't think she does it anymore. I know her friends do.
Who among us can say we didn't do a lot of Molly in our youth?
Me, I never did Molly.
I never did
yeah,
Molly.
I never
either.
did Molly. So I've done other things. But at any rate, so she also has like a thing. So there was a EDM festival out at the Gorge a couple weeks ago, and there was actually a shooting at one of the campsites at it and whatnot. So
wow.
so she actually is as one of the organizers of a group, like a basically social group now called Save the Rave, trying to basically make festivals more safer. I think that's like
More safe.
more safe. Yes.
Yeah.
I
I used to be an English major.
there you go. So I was not. I was
Technically,
dyslexic. Fuck.
Technically, I was a dual major. I was a secondary education.
Oh,
major.
okay. All right. But at any rate, so
smart as fuck.
I like to think because we used to drive in the car and I would play Moby and I would play Fugazi Red Medicine and she would sing both of them. So I like to think that I'm actually the person who introduced her to EDM and techno and all the stuff she's into now. It's because of me.
It's because you used to play Sandstorm constantly.
What?
Sandstorm?
What's Sandstorm?
You know Sandstorm.
Do I? Nope.
You fucking know it.
I probably know.
I'll play Sandstorm for you when we're done.
Right,
you
right,
fucking
yes,
know it.
Yeah,
I guarantee
I don't know. But no, I mean, I used to play the fuck out of
The
that.
kids love Sandstorm.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
The
Cool,
kids
cool.
meaning me.
Speaking of kids,
Yeah, I would say, who gives a shit what you and I think
I know
about this
nobody
album?
actually gives a fuck.
What's
about-
more important is what Regina thinks about this album.
and she likes it. She
You know
does
why?
like
It's
this
because it's
album.
one of my albums.
Yeah, I know, right?
She
No.
fucking loves me.
So I played it for her a few times. I did, like I said, I try to get like different things because, I mean, she's on almost, well, actually when this airs, she will be officially a 7-month-old baby.
No.
So she doesn't use her big girl words yet, but she's getting there. But so I did play it for her a few times. First time we were in the car going food shopping on Friday. And she was listening, but she like fell asleep like right away.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell like she was listening. So the other day I was actually feeding her cereal because she's eating cereal now. And we're starting to introduce her to other other foods and stuff like that. I was feeding her cereal. I'm like, oh fuck it, let's see. Like as she's eating, how's she gonna act? And she was into it. She was chilling. She was enjoying it and listening to it. And so she is a fan of this album.
A very weird side note. I just realized you'd made note of my shirt earlier, and I just looked at the camera and realized that you can't see my shirt.
Oh yeah, no, you can't. That's great. There it is. Mighty Ducks, the original logo. So, so that
They're no longer the Mighty Ducks.
yeah, I know they're just the Ducks.
It's because
Anaheim Ducks.
Disney sold them.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Disney. So on the Regina factor, Adam has 6 likes and 1 dislike. I have 2 likes and 2 dislikes, and there are 3 indifferent albums on the Regina factor. So, did you have any more thoughts about Postal Service?
No, just that. Like I said, if as a public service announcement to any avid vinyl collector out there or beginner vinyl collector out there, if you see something in a record store that you have to have, buy it.
Just get it.
Fucking
Yes.
buy it.
Yep.
And if you don't see something that you have to have at a record store, Look on the odds12recordgarage.com. I bet you could find it there.
You probably could. And that, well, it's funny you bring it up. There's a guy I follow on TikTok whose account, like, I can't remember his handle right now.
Yeah.
But he posted something the other day, and I don't know if he's a seller or he's just a vinyl enthusiast. But he put a thing and he showed like these like records that like came out and then were like out of print. Well, like now they're back. And basically he's saying like, vinyl people, calm down. Calm the fuck down. Like, most records are being repressed. He's like, so like, maybe don't go right to the secondary seller who's going to upcharge you out the ass for something that's going to come out again in like, a certain amount of time, because it does happen. I mean, like, especially
like I have a one of the albums in my 25. If you're trying to find an original pressing of it, you cannot find it for going for, not selling for. I don't know if it's actually selling, but listed for on eBay for like $700.
Yeah, like what? Like
I got my copy as a Father's Day present for when they reissued it for $25.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like what do you like? All right, if you're investing, if you're really truly investing, and you want to flip it, okay, fine, man. Maybe you really need the first pressing of it, but like, if you just want to own it. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily need to get like the very first. Now, granted, there are cool things. Like I don't like the Beatles, but if I came across a fucking 45 of the Quarrymen, I would fucking be like ecstatic, and I probably wouldn't sell it. Yeah. Like, even though like I could probably sell that thing for like, God knows how much money at this point, but like I probably wouldn't. Like, I really don't think I would. I think I would keep it.
So that's the thing. Like, I don't think I want to buy an album. I don't think I want to buy an original pressing of the one album on my 25 for $700 because I wouldn't. It's like when you were talking about the guitar that you bought. You fucking returned it because it was too nice and you didn't want to play it. I'm not gonna buy something for $700 and then fuck it up and depreciate the value. Like,
Well, I mean, I have certain like Mobile Fidelity box sets that were like, like I got them because I wanted the better quality. I was willing to pay the extra price, but it wasn't even like crazy price. But like like that stuff I'm not gonna sell, and it's something like I might play once a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like one of the things I have is I have a Mobile Fidelity box set of Miles Davis Kind of Blue. Mm-hmm. So like, probably about once a year I'll listen to it just to chill out and be like, you know what, I'm vibing. Let me put on like one of the fucking greatest jazz albums ever made. Not that I'm a huge jazz fan, but it's an amazing album. And it's an amazing press in the Mobile Fidelity one. But like, if I wanted to listen to it a lot,
the Mobile Fidelity one that you're saying goes like higher than 180 gram. And they do
no, that's Analog Productions. Mobile Fidelity is all 180 gram. Okay. But they do like these like crazy remasters. Mm-hmm. They do excellent work. But like if I wanted to listen to that a lot, I would just buy the fucking Sony Legacy. Yeah. $20 version of it to listen to it a lot. But so that's how you kind of have to look at it. It's just like sometimes, like, I just want to tell vinyl people, I love you vinyl people, I do it. I love you buying records, and I love that you're so passionate. But sometimes, really, take a breath. Let's take a breath. Let's take a step back. Think about what we're really doing here.
There was a Kevin Smith. I was watching something. Kevin Smith was talking. There's a thing where he's talking about comic books. And he's talking about like how he bought something, and like the guy he bought it from is like, oh, make sure you get that in a bag and put a board behind it. He's like, that's not what comic books are fucking. That's not what vinyl is made for. Like, it's made to enjoy.
Like, my fear is that vinyl is going to turn into Beanie Babies.
They're gonna make a Princess Diana one.
Yes, they're gonna make a Princess Diana vinyl, and no, but you know what I mean. Like, that's what I'm afraid that like people are gonna be like, oh, I gotta have all these.
People are like, oh, the light blue elephant's the most expensive one, and who gives a fuck about Beanie Babies anymore?
Exactly, and that's what I don't want vinyl to turn into. You know what I mean? So, but anyway,
I feel like a rant. Yeah, I feel like vinyl is kind of I feel like vinyl went through that kind of.
No, like I don't think vinyl went through that. It was more of just like CDs came out and like, oh my god, listen to the convenience.
Like, Beanie Babies were replaced by the next best thing. Vinyls were replaced by the next best thing.
But but Beanie Babies were replaced by like, what were they replaced by? Like nothing.
Bratz dolls.
Yeah, like some stupid collectible. Whereas like, I mean, it's just that's been like an evolution of of music between, you know what I mean? You had a Victrola, and then you had records, and then you had, fucking 8 tracks, and then vinyl was still there, but then you had CDs and cassettes, and you know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever listened to an 8-track. What's the quality of an 8-track?
Shit, it's horrible. And plus, like most 8-tracks, you couldn't get you could get a full album, but none of them were the full song because it only had so much thing. So if you put a thing in and you're listening, at some point the song cuts off because if you want to fit everything onto there, you got to. Well, you can get a sample. It's like a sampler. Fucking 8-track's like a sampler.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
That's dumb.
It's stupid. I fucking hate 8-tracks, and somehow they're still coming back. They're still people still want 8-tracks. I don't get it. But at any rate, what are your 3 favorite songs?
I keep trying to get this fly. We'll Become Silhouettes.
Okay.
Sleeping In. Nothing Better.
Okay. I have Such Great Heights.
Okay.
Which, like I said,
Such Great Heights is honestly Such Great Heights is just Such Great Heights is knocking on the window to come in.
Yeah. But that's like I said, so it's the first song I knew by them, and like I said, I do like the cover versions better. But on this album, I do like their version of Such Great Heights. It's good. Nothing Better is my number 2.
Nice.
And my number 3, which for it was a Fungus song. Because at first I was like, this song's not that good, but I listened to it today. I threw on your record. And I was listening to it. I was preparing for the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this song's probably number 3. What the fuck is this? I was like, oh fuck. 2 days ago, I hated this song, and that's Clark Gable.
I do like Clark Gable.
Yeah,
Clark Gable is next in line, probably behind District Sleeps Alone Tonight, knocking on the window to come in.
Yeah, no, and that jumped in, and I'm like, oh, okay, because and I was glad because
it's always interesting to me. It's always fun for me when we because it only happened a couple times where we say our top 3 and multiple songs on the top 3 line up.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's your bottom 1?
Bottom 1 is actually bottom 1 and 2. I'm gonna say probably it's a mix. Natural Anthem. I put a star there to say it's probably it, but it's a slash between Natural Anthem and Brand New Colony.
For me, it's This Place Is a Prison.
Okay. I'm trying to think which one that is.
Exactly.
It's kind of
exactly.
But that's okay. So here's the thing.
It's not that it's a bad song, but it's the lesser on the album.
So that's the thing. I can't place that song, but I can place these other 2 songs, and they annoy the fuck out of me. So that's why, I found them to be my.
Like I said before, Brand New Colony is straight up fucking Super Mario.
Yes, no, that one is too, but no, the other one.
Anthem is minute 45 of a musical intro and 15 seconds of vocals.
Yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah,
it's just not a good song. So it's a horrible way to end the album back to back with those 2.
Yeah. I would say they do close the album out, and if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry. This Place Is a Prison is side 2, is track 2 of side 2. I think.
Yeah, I think so, something like that. Yep. So we are on, man. We are getting fucking efficient at this, man. This one, we were at a minute. You get it? Nope.
It's not right there.
Nope. We were at
that's a piece of fuzz.
An hour and 4 minutes last time. This one's just hitting because we have our extra time, so we're getting there. We're getting efficient.
It's like we're professionals.
We're almost professionals. We almost know what we're doing. We're getting this down. But then we're gonna have a Booze and Vinyl one come up, and we're gonna have a fucking 4-hour podcast again. Although, oh shit,
Frank's gonna be on another Booze and Vinyl episode.
So that actually kind of
we're gonna drink more absinthe.
I might have a little bit of an issue for the next few weeks. So all right, so as I've mentioned before, I am diabetic.
Are we breaking up?
No, we're not breaking up.
We're not fast.
Now, I don't have to fast, but I am going on a detox. I'm going on a detox for about 5 weeks, so no sugar.
I'll just drink twice as much.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm doing no sugar. I'm doing no alcohol.
I'll drink double for the both of us.
You're
welcome.
Thank you. I'm cutting out my carbs just to, it's so my diabetes.
Now is this permanent?
No. It's just for a month.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's so So me and Katie did this before. Actually, we did actually like a dry January and like
no nut November.
No. But we did dry January and and we did a sugar detox like a couple years back. I still ended up getting diabetes. And no, my diabetes is very much under control. Like even like the last time I got checked, my A1C is back down to pre-diabetic numbers. But like the first time I got checked for like, after diagnosis, my A1C was like super fucking low. Like even like not even pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
And then the last time I was higher, but I was still in pre-diabetic numbers. One of the cool things about my sensors is, especially with the version I have, I can kind of see what my A1C, and it's like on the higher side and it's not going down. So it's just like more like one of those like, all right, let me take a step back. Let's reboot. Let's kind of like, jump start it back. Like I'm still, like I said, my levels are still back in pre-diabetic, and I want to make sure that they stay on the low end of pre-diabetic. So like, I've gotten into some like bad habits over the last few months. So I kind of want to like, just like kind of like, all right, let's reboot. Let's stop.
Let's stop doing crack cocaine.
Let's stop doing crack cocaine for a month.
Just for a month.
Just for a month. Actually, I think it's gonna be like almost 5 weeks because like it worked out like the times that we're doing it like. I'm starting it like after like we're actually starting the day after a night where I know I'm gonna get really fucking drunk, and then we're ending it right before we go on vacation at the end of August. So,
nice.
So it's like, all right, cool. So it'll be good. But like, so if we have some booze and vinyls in there, I'm gonna be drinking water, and you're gonna have to.
That's fine. I will give the book review.
Okay.
To
drinks. I mean, I can still talk about it.
To appease the legal department.
Yes.
Katie.
All right. So, most important thing about this is our Discogs value. So as pretty much as I don't be funny looking.
I always look over your shoulder to look at your notes, and I still don't know what the fuck them. I still can't.
It's because my writing.
Because you're dyslexic.
I am. I'm dyslexic, and my writing's a mess. Sister Bernice would still be pissed off at me. Sister Bernice was my 6th grade homeroom teacher, and she used to make me come in school early every day to work on my penmanship on the board. And she used to say, she used to be like,
where my child mind goes. You're like, she used to make you come in school early.
No, not like that. No, but no, she would like, Weiss, you write like a doctor, but you're so stupid you'll never be one. So
damn.
Yeah, those sisters of St. Joseph, they knew how to
nuns are assholes.
Get you to work it up.
I also have horrible penmanship, so
yes. So
I sympathize with you.
Yes. So you have a 2005, not the 2013 10th anniversary edition. You do have a 2005 150 gram remastered and repressed copy. You probably had a hype sticker on that, which was attached to the shrink wrap that said the first time on vinyl. You don't remember now because it was almost 20 years ago. But yeah, that the one you have would have had that hype sticker. There is the little note that on the back cover of yours that says the name Postal Service is used with permission of the United States Postal Service.
Is it?
Yep, it's it's on the bottom right hand corner, right by the picture there.
Yeah, the name Postal Service is used with permission of the United States Postal Service.
Yep,
look at
that. Yep. This is a gatefold and includes a 12 by 24 poster with a booklet which has the original artwork, lyrics, and credits. Yours is fucked because of water damage. And it has the bonus EP, which is the second disc, including the more superior version of Such Great Heights by Iron and Wine.
This doesn't have the Iron and Wine version.
Yeah, it does. Look at your album. Look at your album, side 2, last song, because I fucking listened to it earlier. Oh no!
Is that the dude who is Iron and Wine?
I have no idea who that is, but that right there says performed by Iron and Wine right under Such Great Heights.
You said side 2.
Right here. Here you go. B-sides. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Record 2, Side 1. Such Great
Okay,
Heights.
see, I thought you meant
Performed by-
side record 2.
Yeah,
You said
sorry.
record 2,
sorry.
side
I know,
2.
I said Side 2. But yeah, no. Yeah, there's a John Tejada mix. Of Such
Okay,
Great
I was
Heights. didn't listen
confused
to it.
by it.
But yes, no. Okay, so Record 2, Side 1, Song 3.
I will say
Iron
that
and Wine, Such Great
the
Heights.
booklet that comes with this, at least the lyrics pages part of it, is kind of the water damage kind of adds to it.
Yeah, no, it does. It does actually. Your booklet looks cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because of your,
Because of the poor quality that it's in.
poor quality covered, you'd probably have to put that at poor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And listen to a
Is
record.
there anything lower than poor? Is there a shit
No, it's
show?
poor. No, it's poor. It's
Is it
fair and then poor.
Shit show?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
It's a don't bother selling it.
Yeah.
is what it is.
Just keep it for the personal collection.
But yeah, so I even listening to it, I probably would have only graded it no better than a very good, maybe a good plus.
Oh.
Oh, is it stuck? Yeah.
Oh,
there you
fuck.
go. Yeah. See, poster's all fucked up.
Not
You're
even
gonna fuck it up
I'm
even
not
more.
even gonna try it.
So, but
It's staying closed.
as per our rules, we go by the very good plus MSRP.
Thank God we do.
Yes, we do. And this one comes in at $32.50.
Just right around what I paid for it. Probably.
Okay. Yeah, which would
I
be
probably paid like high 20s, low 30s for it.
so. Since we round up, it's $33.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing your running total to $415. Fucking steel train.
Fucking steel train.
And you are leading me by $142 because my running total is still at $273.
Nice.
So yeah, you have a nice lead on me there.
A little bit.
Very nice lead, yeah.
So I think so. What am I at? So let me do
What? You have $142.
$142 over you.
And you have 2 records more than me.
So realistically, I'll say average cost of a record $25.
Roughly, yeah.
I'm about 5 records ahead of you.
Yeah, pretty
Five
much.
and a half records ahead of you.
Yeah. Dickhead.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
From one fucking record.
From one fucking record. From one motherfucking record.
So, do you want to see if you could possibly draw one of your own albums to shorten that deficit?
I would love to see if that's going to be the case. We've been going back and forth and whatnot, so
I'm pretty sure I drew Postal Service.
you did draw Postal Service, so it's my turn to draw. So I'm going to draw here. I'm mixing them up. I'm hoping.
Let me just spin the box a little bit. So moving pictures.
Moving pictures.
It's the only Rush
You
album I know.
moved over to moving pictures.
Exactly.
All right.
I think I was telling you that the only like Rush songs I know are all on
Moving Pictures.
On Moving
Yeah,
Pictures.
yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Sawyer, YYZ, and Limelight are the 3 fucking Rush songs that I know.
All right, so I got number 40.
Okay.
All right.
It looks yellow.
It is not. It is blue.
Is it blue?
So it's probably another Adam. It's a possibility it's not, but chances are it is.
Me.
Oh, God.
And the handwriting's terrible. What do you got?
I'm so not looking forward to this album.
Let me stand up and move over to my side.
This album I'm so not looking forward to.
What do we have?
For several reasons. Brand new Deja Entendu, is that how you say
And
it?
it's very funny that we draw Deja Entendu because this is the album I was saying. If you buy an original pressing,
Yeah, it's like $700.
$700
Yeah.
on fucking eBay.
Oh God, yeah, I'm not looking.
Although, so yeah, this is going to go one way for Paul, and if it goes that other way, I will be completely fucking shocked. But brand new's Deja Entendu.
Yeah, got possibility of some guest on this one here.
Yeah, Zach was talking about potentially wanting a retribution,
A reprise,
a reprise for this one. A little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a second chance, a fancier version of second chance.
What's he think? He's gonna like stay sober? Like I don't know what he's thinking. So
In his defense, you did start him off with like 3.9%.
That's so that like, and then how much was he drinking before he even came over? Let's talk about that.
But in all fairness, though,
There's someone else who might want to actually be a guest on this too.
If
so.
someone hands me a,
I don't have a Winnie. Did we lose our dog? So
do you want to end this so we can do dog hunt?
we might have to do a dog hunt. My wife just popped her head in and asked if we had Winnie Cooper, but I think she's off with Kevin Arnold, kissing on the swing set. So on that note, I guess we have to go see if we can find a Winnie Cooper.
If that's the case, Paul, what time is it?
Oh, it is time to.